Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/MaliciousCompliance. In today's episode, turning wage theft into time theft by showing up on time. You can eat at the hotel. You want me to waste company money schmoozing the wrong guys? Okay. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Turning wage theft into time theft by showing up on time. My job is 12-hour shifts with a flexible start time. You must show up before 7, but you can start as early as 6 if you want, and most people opt to show up before 6:30. The last person is usually in before 6:45. We let people go home at the end of shift on a first-in first-out basis. In theory, you should be able to go home after you've worked your 12 hours, but in practice there is usually a disparity of arrival times between the outgoing shift and the oncoming shift. For example, I may have started at 6:15 as the fourth person in, and I'm relieved by the fourth person in on the next shift, but that person might show up at 6:45, making me stay 30 minutes late. I can't complain to that person because it's their right to show up at 6:45. I talked to my supervisor about this because it had been happening pretty frequently. She said the company won't pay me for the extra time because, according to her, it's my choice to arrive earlier than 7, and that's just the risk I take in being early. She also said she's not willing to move any people around to cover my role to get me out on time, even though they regularly do that to let people take unscheduled bathroom breaks and do training. She said it'd be different if I wasn't relieved by 7 because someone is really late, but before 7 they don't care. Solution? I show up at 6:59 now. I'm always the last one in. I leave later than everyone, but I'm also guaranteed never to work a single extra, unpaid minute. It also means that the person I relieve is having to stay late because again, the last person usually shows up before 6:45. It also means I usually get relieved earlier than 12 hours. I still have to stay in the building until I reach 12 hours, tracked with badge cards, but ultimately they're still paying me for 10 to 15 minutes of wandering hallways or reading a book. So basically they went from regularly stiffing me 15 to 30 minutes of pay to regularly having to pay me to do 15 to 30 minutes of nothing. You can eat at the hotel. A long time ago in the late 90s when I was a young IT consultant, I was sent out of state in an assignment. The sales manager decided to make all of the travel arrangements for me and my coworker. We were to stay at a Holiday Inn type hotel he booked for us. When I asked about daily expenses and a rental car, the sales manager told me that the hotel had a shuttle that would take us to the work site and we could eat at the hotel restaurant. I tried to argue with him that I'd like to see the town or eat somewhere other than the hotel, but he wouldn't budge. He paid for the flights and the rooms, and we could charge our meals to our room. Anything else would be paid for out of our own pockets. I was young and broke, so I didn't have much of a choice. I settled into the expectation that I would have a boring week of hotel/work/hotel for 5 days. When my coworker and I arrived at the hotel, we were quite surprised to find that it wasn't at all a Holiday Inn type hotel, in spite of the fact that it had inn in the name. It was quite fancy and the rooms were comfortable and spacious. The hotel restaurant, though, was something my lower middle-class self had never experienced. This was a restaurant that didn't print prices on the menu. In fact, I couldn't even pronounce half of the items listed. Meals were a set cost regardless of what you ordered. Breakfast was $40 per person. Lunches and dinners were $60 per person. Knowing we had no car and no way to expense anything that wasn't charged to the room, my coworker and I dutifully ate 3 meals a day in the hotel restaurant. I had 5 days of filet mignon for breakfast and various gourmet lunches and dinners, while the hotel shuttle took us to and from the workplace all week. Now, years later, I'm not even sure I remember the city I was in or the work I was doing, but I remember a week of filet mignon for breakfast and the look in the eyes of the sales manager when he saw his credit card statement. That was a great trip. You want me to waste company money schmoozing the wrong guys? Okay, A number of years ago, I worked for a recruiting company that serviced a major automotive plant in the US. This was the first of its kind built in the US and had just recently opened. Now, typically for my company, a business manager/owner/administrator would give us hiring orders for new employees. Usually, it's someone in charge who decides to hire new people. With this company, the administration handed the hiring decision to the new hire trainers, then those trainers would give us the order. I loved these trainers. They were deeply religious, family-orientated guys. Both of them adopted children from rough homes while I knew them. Both were extremely kind and welcoming to my new hires I was sending in, which can be rare in an automotive plant. They'd go on missions with their church to help in struggling areas. While I am not religious at all myself, I loved how passionate these guys were. And how it reflected in working alongside them. The plant lowered production and our orders for new hires slowed. My managers started getting on my ass. "Hey, go ask Bill and Ted if there is any new hires they need. Take them to dinner and see if you can talk them into more employees." I explained repeatedly to my boss that Bill and Ted do not make hiring decisions. Those decisions come way over their head, and they just relay it. I was told I am new to this business and don't understand how networking works. Finally, my boss got on my ass when he was in the region for a meeting. I needed to push these guys to make new orders. So I checked my limits for how much I could spend schmoozing clients. And then I took these guys all around town for months. "A new steakhouse opened, you guys want to try? Bring your wives and let's go. Do you guys want to hit the billiards club for lunch? The whole ticket is on me. Office want breakfast burritos and coffee delivered? Send your orders in and I'll bring it on my way." At some point, I figured there would be some backlash over the money I was spending. I even found the max I was allowed to tip and was maxing it out every time to give out more money to the waitresses. I was wrong. The plant cycled up again, and I think my managers believed those new orders came from the money I was spending, and not just typical ebbs and flows of auto manufacturing. Eventually, I left the industry and these guys moved on to other jobs. We had a blast on the company dime while it lasted. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.